Hey there, welcome to another video from StoicSoul, where we explore how the ancient philosophy of Stoicism can help us live better in the modern world. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects all of us: emotions and relationships. Have you ever let your emotions get the best of you in a relationship? Maybe you lashed out in anger at your partner, or let jealousy and suspicion drive a wedge between you and a loved one. It's a common struggle, but the good news is, Stoic philosophy has some powerful wisdom to help us master our emotions and build healthier, happier relationships. Now, you might have heard the misconception that Stoics are cold and emotionless, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The Stoics understood the importance of emotions and believed in embracing positive ones like love, joy, and gratitude. What they cautioned against were the negative, destructive emotions that can poison our relationships, like anger, jealousy, and resentment. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wrote, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters." In other words, we can't always control what emotions arise in us, but we can control how we respond to them. And that makes all the difference in our relationships. So how do we put this into practice? The Stoics offer us several powerful strategies. Slow your emotional reactions. When we feel a strong emotion bubbling up, our first instinct is often to act on it immediately. We want to yell back when our partner raises their voice or fire off that angry text. But reacting based on raw emotion rarely leads anywhere good. Instead, the Stoics advise us to pause and give our rational minds time to catch up. Epictetus said, when we feel an emotional impression, we should say to it, "Hold up a bit and let me see who you are and where you are from. Let me put you to the test." In modern terms, we might call this counting to 10 when you're angry. That momentary pause gives you space to breathe and consider if your emotional reaction is really warranted or helpful. It allows you to respond rather than just react. Put yourself in their shoes. When we're in the grip of negative emotions, it's easy to get tunnel vision. All we can see is our own hurt, our own perspective. One of the most powerful antidotes is empathy, making an effort to understand where the other person is coming from. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Practice really hearing what people say. Do your best to get inside their minds. When you're tempted to lash out at your partner, pause and consider what might they be feeling right now. What experiences or wounds might be influencing their reaction?" Seeing the situation through their eyes can diffuse anger and build understanding. Communicate with kindness. It's easy to fall into communication patterns in relationships that escalate conflict rather than resolve it, things like criticism, contempt, defensiveness. But the Stoics recognized that hostility only breeds more hostility. The solution is radical kindness. Seneca wrote, "I shall show you a love potion without a drug, without a herb, without the incantation of any sorceress. If you want to be loved, love." Treat your partner with unconditional positive regard, especially when conflict arises. Use "I feel" statements rather than accusations. Listen more than you speak. Meet hostility with gentleness and understanding. This isn't about being a pushover or tolerating mistreatment. It's about embodying the change you want to see in your relationship. As Stoic philosopher Musonius Rufus said, "The best way to avenge yourself is not to become like the wrongdoer." Focus on what you can control. So much of the pain we experience in relationships comes from trying to control things we ultimately can't: other people's feelings, reactions, behaviors. The Stoics knew the path to peace was focusing only on what's truly in our sphere of control, our own thoughts, beliefs, and actions. Epictetus expressed this powerfully. Some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and, in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and, in a word, whatever are not our own actions. When conflict arises in a relationship, ask yourself, what part of this can I actually control? Usually, It's your own response, whether you react with anger or patience, withdraw or engage, escalate or defuse. No, you can't control how your partner ultimately responds, but you can be the leader in demonstrating a more constructive way of relating. Embrace impermanence. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is memento mori, remember you will die. It's not about being morbid, but about recognizing the impermanence and preciousness of life. And this awareness can be a powerful motivator to appreciate and nurture our relationships while we have them. Epictetus illustrated this poignantly with the example of a ceramic cup. He said if you're attached to a cup, remind yourself it's just a cup, so you won't be devastated if it breaks. And he extends the analogy to relationships. If you kiss your child or your wife, say that you only kiss things which are human, and thus you will not be disturbed if either of them dies. Now, this sounds harsh on the surface, but the point isn't to avoid deep attachment and love for others. It's to love them fully while recognizing that permanence is an illusion. We have our dear ones on loan from the universe. How would it change your relationships if you treated each moment with your loved ones as precious, not guaranteed? Cultivate gratitude. The Stoics were big proponents of gratitude as a way to appreciate what we have, rather than pining for what we lack. And modern research bears out the incredible power of gratitude to boost happiness, connection, and relationship satisfaction. A simple way to bring more gratitude into your relationships is to make a habit of expressing appreciation to your loved ones. At the end of each day, tell your partner one thing you appreciated about them that day, or write them a heartfelt letter of gratitude, detailing all the ways they've positively impacted your life. Not only does expressing gratitude make the other person feel great, it shifts your focus to everything that's good in your relationship. It's like a spotlight, illuminating the positives you might have been overlooking. Take responsibility. It's easy to get caught up in the blame game in relationships. I only reacted that way because you did X first. But the Stoics emphasized taking personal responsibility for our reactions and our part in relationship dynamics. Epictetus put it bluntly, don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen, and you will go on well. In other words, you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. When you find yourself blaming your partner, pause and ask, what part did I play in this situation? How can I take ownership for my role, my reactions? This isn't about self-blame, but empowerment, recognizing your ability to affect change, starting with yourself. Develop self-awareness. Ultimately, mastering our emotions and relationships requires deep self-knowledge. We need to understand our own emotional triggers, thought patterns, and blind spots. The Stoics were big proponents of reflective practices like journaling as a way to cultivate self-awareness. Marcus Aurelius's famous work, Meditations, was essentially his personal journal, a space to reflect on his actions and refine his character. Consider starting a relationship journal where you reflect on challenging interactions with your partner. What emotions came up for you? What thoughts or beliefs fueled those emotions? What might you do differently next time? Developing this kind of emotional intelligence is a lifelong journey, but it starts with self-awareness. The Stoics didn't expect us to become perfect or to never experience negative emotions. They simply encouraged us to keep engaging in the practices like pausing, empathizing, expressing gratitude that help us respond to those emotions more skillfully. And when we do slip up, as we inevitably will, self-compassion is key. Beating yourself up over mistakes only compounds the negativity. Instead, talk to yourself like you would a dear friend, with understanding, encouragement, and the determination to keep learning and growing. Ultimately, the Stoic path is about choosing your response to life's challenges rather than being at the mercy of them. It's about developing the wisdom to navigate the storms of relationships with a steady hand and an open heart. And make no mistake, this is a practice, not a perfect. We're all works in progress. But every moment we choose to pause, empathize, appreciate, and take responsibility is a moment we're shaping our relationships for the better. So I invite you to pick just one Stoic strategy that resonated with you from this video and commit to practicing it in your relationships this week. Maybe it's pausing before reacting in anger or expressing gratitude to your partner each day. Start small, but start, because in the end, the ultimate Stoic relationship hack is simply this: stop trying to hack your relationships. Just love fully, bravely, and wisely. Thank you for watching, and see you next time on Stoic Soul.